The afternoon sun glared against the chrome signs of the old roadside diner, but nothing shone brighter than the cruelty on the boys' faces as they laughed. The elderly woman lay helpless on the hot pavement, her hands trembling around a smashed burger she had dropped when they shoved her. She couldn't hear their taunts, couldn't hear the mocking laughter or the phone camera capturing her humiliation, because she was deaf. All she could feel was the vibration of movement around her, the sting of tears burning down her cheeks, and the weight of a world that suddenly felt far too cold. That moment, frozen in time, was the kind that tests humanity, and reveals its true heroes. Backhand index pointing right if you believe in kindness, second chances, and standing up for those who can't defend themselves. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your support helps keep these powerful stories alive. The woman's name was Margaret, though no one there cared enough to ask. She had come to the diner because it reminded her of the place she and her late husband used to visit every Friday for 43 years. Today was their anniversary. She wore her best floral blouse, ironed her skirt carefully that morning, and walked the extra mile to the diner simply to feel close to him again. But life can be unkind at the moments we need gentleness the most. When she stepped out with her meal, her hands a little unsteady but her heart full, the group of teenage boys noticed her. They saw not a person, but an opportunity. With their matching jackets and loud voices, they circled her like a cruel performance. One pretended to trip into her, another bumped her shoulder, and the third pushed her hard enough that she fell to the ground. She didn't hear what they said as she hit the pavement. She only felt the sharp pain in her wrist, the warm spill of her lunch on the asphalt, and the sudden rush of despair as she realized they were filming her tears for entertainment. The boys laughed, pointing, nudging each other while Margaret tried desperately to sit up. She could read lips, but the chaos around her made it impossible. All she saw were lips curled in mockery. All she felt was shame. She wished desperately she could disappear. Cars drove by, but no one stopped. People inside the diner glanced through the window, but no one came out. And for a moment, it seemed like cruelty had completely overtaken compassion. Then the ground began to rumble. At first it was faint, barely noticeable amid the humiliation she was drowning in. But gradually it intensified, the deep, unmistakable thunder of motorcycle engines rolling closer. The boys turned, their laughs weakening as a group of bikers pulled into the diner's parking lot. They were large, intimidating, leather-clad men with heavy boots and heavy presence. Their vests bore patches and insignias that made the boys step back instinctively. Leading them was a towering man with a silver beard and stern eyes who immediately noticed Margaret on the ground. He didn't hesitate. While the boys froze, the bikers climbed off their motorcycles like a storm descending. The leader went straight to Margaret, his brows tight with concern, lowering himself to help her gently sit up. His hands were rough, but his touch was soft, so soft it startled her. When she realized he was trying to speak, she shook her head, pointing to her ears. She braced herself for frustration, for another wave of impatience or mockery. But instead, the man nodded in understanding and slowly placed a hand over his chest, then pointed to her, as if saying, "I'm here. You're safe." The boys tried to slip away, but the other bikers stepped in front of them, blocking their escape. They didn't touch them, didn't threaten them. They just stood there, unmovable. The leader gestured for another biker, a younger woman with gentle eyes, to come over. She crouched beside Margaret, signing slowly with her hands. Margaret's breath hitched. Someone understood her language. The woman signed again, asking if she was hurt, asking what had happened. Tears streamed down Margaret's cheeks, not from pain this time, but from sudden relief. She explained what little she could, her hands trembling as she signed. The biker woman's face hardened as she looked at the boys, who suddenly wished the ground would swallow them whole. The leader stood up, towering over the teenagers. He didn't shout. He didn't grab them. He simply took the phone from the boy who had been recording, deleted the video, and then, with a voice steady but thunderous, told them they needed to learn what real strength looked like. Strength was not in humiliating someone weaker. Strength was in protecting them. Strength was in kindness. The boys stood frozen, understanding in that moment that the men before them weren't dangerous, they were honorable. And honor was something the boys lacked. Margaret was carefully helped to her feet, and the bikers guided her inside the diner. The staff, ashamed of not stepping in earlier, immediately prepared a warm meal for her, on the house. The bikers sat with her, keeping her company, ensuring she felt safe. With the help of the biker woman who knew sign language, Margaret told them about her anniversary, about her late husband, about why she had come alone today. The leader's eyes softened. Without a word, he signaled to the others. One left the diner and came back minutes later with a bouquet of wildflowers from a nearby stand. Another placed a small box of chocolates beside her plate. The leader simply sat with her, giving her the present she had been missing, one of protection, respect, and quiet companionship. As the meal went on, the once rowdy teenagers sat outside on the curb, reflecting on their actions. The leader eventually stepped out to talk to them again, but this time he spoke with patience. He told them they had a choice, to grow into men who caused pain, or men who prevented it. And that every choice they make builds the future they have to live with. One of the boys, eyes red, nodded slowly. Another whispered an apology. The leader didn't reply with anger. He simply told them to do better. To be better. Margaret finished her meal with a softness in her chest she hadn't felt since her husband passed. She left the diner that day not broken, but lifted, carried by the unexpected hands of strangers who reminded her that the world still held goodness. Backhand index pointing right. If this story touched your heart, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your engagement helps spread messages of compassion in a world that desperately needs it. Speech balloon before you go, comment below, kindness always wins.